nice to have you all here. Um, over the years, I've spoken about mental and emotional health, and there are a number of things that I have advised, counseled. Hello, Bukola. It's really good to have you all here. I have advised, counseled people, we've spoken and I have taught about routines. I have taught about things you can do, practical ways to protect your mental health. But the very interesting thing is that everybody is in different seasons of their lives. And we find that what may work for one person may be different and may not work for another person. And so, when I counsel people one-on-one, I see that person A, maybe all that person needs to do is maintain a routine of regular exercise. That grounds them, that helps to release the energy, that helps to decrease their anxiety, that could also help to clear their mind. But for another person, it may be journaling. For another person, it may be mindful meditation. For another person, it may be waking up before the entire house is awake. For another person, it could be always taking a walk. It could also be getting their not just routine but their schedule under check, increasing the level of boundaries that they have. There's so many techniques that can help you when you are trying to not just not just survive in your mental health, but thrive in your mental health. And so as we continue in this mental health series that is happening throughout the month of May with the Virtual Soul Clinic and the Soul Clinic online, I'm excited to be able to introduce somebody who is a multi-dimensional person. She's one that is busy. Like I've learned from her I've learned ways to schedule my time. We became friends maybe about 4 years ago, like I said in the introduction post. And it's not just, we don't just see every time. I can't call her up and say, I'm on my way to your house. I can't say, oh, let's meet up or catch up at so time. We even schedule our calls. Okay, are you free on Friday evening at 6 o'clock? I'm going to call you then. Because truthfully speaking, and definitely not sarcastic, she's busy. And naturally she would be, because she wears many hats. She does so many things. And everybody, like I said earlier, we are all in different seasons of our lives doing one thing or the other. How do you maintain your mental health? How do you protect your space? How do you keep yourself from going insane? I would love right now, and if you all can also just welcome with me, Lady Ariyike Akinbobola. She is a Nigerian trained lawyer, an advocate, a philanthropist, a former TV host when she was in Nigeria. She's a communications specialist, a wife, a mother to 3 boys. Like, what does it, can you just imagine taking care of 3 boys? 2 of them are teenagers, 1 is 7 years old. She's the best-selling author of 2 books, which I love. One book is called Beautifully Colored, and the other book is called The Cost of Our Lives. She's a YouTuber. She does like weekly shows on YouTube. She's a public speaker. She runs several businesses. Yes. I'm about to request for us to go live together. Initiative. She works a full-time job in US immigration. She's multidimensional. Yes, she's here. I was giving you your flowers. Like, okay, let me adjust this hair. She came with her beautiful red lipstick. You look so wonderful.
Thank you, hon.
She's my friend. She's my sister. Like, we've been through a lot. We've gone up and down, we've had some times where we're like, I still want to be your friend regardless. I'm still your friend. I'm still your sister, regardless. We are busy, but it's okay. I'm still your friend.
Thank you so much, Funmi. Thanks for the wonderful
It
introduction.
is
Flowers well
flowers
received. Well
well
received. Well
received.
received. Well
Yes,
received.
well
Thank
received.
you. Thank
So
you.
it's such a privilege to have you on this Instagram live.
Thank you.
I'm not sure whether we've done a live together. We have interacted. I've spoken at where you have emceed, and we have been in meetings. But I don't think, I'm not sure.
I
So
think we've done a YouTube live, if I
yes,
remember. I think
that's
ages
true.
ago.
That's
Yes,
correct.
I think we've done one
That's
on
correct.
YouTube. Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
So
But not on Instagram. This is the first one here on
yeah.
Instagram. Yes.
So
Um,
this is really beautiful, and I'm really happy to have you
Thank
here.
you so much for having me. Hello,
Hi,
everyone. Thank you
everybody. Thank
so
you to
much
all
for
those
joining.
joining.
Thanks, everyone, for joining.
Thank you for joining.
I'm blowing
Some people will
kisses.
catch the replay. Some people will catch the replay, so we're also saying hi to you guys. We're going to dive right into it. We want to make the most of like 50 minutes. So we're going to dive right into it. The first thing I want to ask you is, what does mental health mean to you? Let's just jump into it.
Mental health for me means well-being, means feeling right, feeling good mentally, and a lot of people want to look good on the outside. I'm wearing my red lipstick, try to do my hair all pretty. Look at you with your glasses, you look so good. But then we look good on the outside, but what is going on the inside? So mental health has more to do with just taking care of the within, so that
Yes.
when the outer part of you looks good,
Yeah.
you're ensuring that the inner part of you is wholesome and
Yes.
is happy and is at peace and is well. Because without our mental health being intact, it's going to be hard for us to smash a lot of goals that we want to smash. It's going to be hard for us to do a lot of things. And I'm very big on self-love. I'm sure you know that. For me,
Yes.
it's all about self-love. You have to love yourself
Mm.
first. And mental health captures the whole essence of you just making sure that the internal part of you, the internal being of you, yourself, be inside of you, is healthy mentally. So that's what mental health means
That's
for me.
fantastic. Thank you. You made a particular statement. You spoke about the outside looking good, but the inside, how important it is for the inside to also match the outside.
Yes.
The next question I would ask you is, in your personal life, what signs do you see that help you know that I need to pay attention to my mental health? What
Okay.
happens to you on the inside that you observe that you're like, we need to pay attention?
Okay, fantastic. Thanks for asking that. So, as with everyone, everyone is different. Like, we all have how we run our ships. Like, the
Yes.
way I am wired, for me, three things that come into play
Yes,
that will
please.
come into play a lot in this conversation are mindset, mindfulness, and rest. Those three, I'm very big on them because I'm very mindful, I'm very self-aware, I'm very present in the moment to a certain extent that even I didn't
Yeah.
realize. And this is not something that you wake up and you say, hey, I was born with this. This is something that I've worked on consciously over time. So for me, I don't wait till I get a burnout, or I don't wait till I get to a state where I'm like, oh my God, my mental health, my mental health. The way I live my life every day, mental health comes into play in everything I do. And that's why I would call myself the queen of boundaries. I am so well guarded, and with me, for me, it's like it's either you like me or not. Sorry, like I can't be friends with everybody, and I cannot be available to everybody. And Davido's song, I'm unavailable. Yeah, no, they see me. It's pretty much as if, you know, he sang it for me, because with me, it's all about boundaries. It might sound like a selfish way of living, but I have come to understand that, most especially living in this part of the world, living in Canada, if you do not prioritize your mental health, you are going to have it rough, very, very rough. And at the end of the day, when you have it rough, you're going to have nobody at your side, because the truth is everybody else is busy working on their goals, working on their mental health. So for me, it's like, I don't wait till I get to a level where I'm, you know, almost burnt out, or I'm like, oh my God. No, every day I wake up, I am very intentional. And I'm also big on affirmations. I'm a Christian. I believe in the word of God. And when I wake up, like the minute I wake up, the first thing I do, I pray. And in praying, I'm very thankful. I'm I'm not one of those people that, you know, I wake up and I'm like, God, please, I want this, I want that. No. In fact, I rarely ask God for things. And when I ask, God always answers. I am more of a thankful, I'm a thankful daughter. I'm one of the thankful daughters of God. And I also wake up, you know, knowing that through Christ I can do all things. So I wake up, and those things that even though I have my to-do list, I know that I'm not able to do everything, but I know that those things that are very important to me, I'm able to do them and achieve them. And my mental health is one of those things, because if you call me in the morning, I'm not going to pick up your call, except I've done certain things. I will not, no matter, even my mom, I will not pick up her calls. So she knows not to call me at certain times, because I also feed off on energy. So if somebody calls in the morning and brings a lot of negative energy to you, you don't know that, you know, it's almost like automatically you're going to feed on that energy, even without you knowing it.
Yes.
So I'm very big on how I live my life. I'm very big on the things that I do. I'm also very big on the people I allow into my space, because I have, over the years, I have sanitized my space. Like, I'm very, very, I'm very deep. I'm very deep on, you know, if people might see me, I'm like, oh, Lady Ariyike is very friendly. Oh, she's nice. I am friendly. I am nice. But am I accessible? No, I'm not. I am not. And it's very intentional, because I do not want to be in spaces with everybody. And I know that I cannot be friends with everybody, because for me, friendship is sisterhood, especially
Yes.
if we're both, you know, women. And I already know that I'm not going to be able to give you the time that you want. So I'm not going to even start that friendship, because I know that it's going to be hard. Like, we can be colleagues, we can, you know, I put people in
Work
boxes.
together, collaborate.
I put people in boxes, but I cannot say everybody is my friend. No, I'm not one of those people that, oh, this person. So back to your question, I am very, very intentional about how I live my life, and intentional being that my mental health is already at the front burner. I put it as priority. I prioritize my mental health, and I choose me. I'm a mom. I have 3 boys. And if I'm not well mentally, my whole house is going to be in shambles.
That's
It's going to be in
true.
shambles.
That is
So
true.
I have to
That is true.
ensure that, you know, I am well from the inside, even if I'm not made up, even if I don't look, even if I'm not wearing my wig or my hair is scattered, but the internal being of me, at every point in time, I ensure that the energy that I have around me is positive, kindred spirits, people who are like me, people who, if they call me and I can pick up the phone, and even if they have any problems that they want to talk to me about, they're not going to put their problems on you. Do you know that some people will call you, dump their
And they
problems
place the
on you,
burden.
put the burden on you, and they just walk away? So, you know, for me, it's like, okay, we've spoken about this. How are we, like, what are we going to do? How are we going to ensure that you're not calling me the same time tomorrow to say the same thing? So, yeah, so people need to also be mindful of the people they have around them. And this is not me saying, oh, be a selfish friend, don't be there for your friends. No, I'm not saying that. But I'm saying you have to also give value for those people who reach out to you, because if you don't give value, They're going to keep calling you back for the same thing. And unconsciously, it will weigh you down. It's going to weigh
Yes, it
you
will.
down. And people don't
Yes, it
realize
will.
that.
Yes, it will. It will. So I took so much already from what you've said. I mean, you spoke about mindset, mindfulness, and rest. First of all, you're like, those are your top three tools for maintaining your mental health. You also said that mental health is at the front burner for you. You prioritize it before you do anything. And then you spoke about your routines in the morning, praying, meditating, ensuring that it's not just anybody that comes with their energy in the morning,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You spoke also about being accessible to only specific people or kinds of people.
Yes.
It's not just anybody that you're accessible to. You spoke about choosing your friends and your friendships wisely, being able to categorize who is an associate, who is a
Who
friend,
is
who
a
is a
colleague? Who
mentor,
is a mentor?
who is a colleague. Exactly. And so you know what level of access you give to these people. It's almost like we are continuing from yesterday's boundaries conversation. It's just flowing. It's just flowing. And I'm so grateful for that. Wow. Ariyike.
Yes, for
So
me.
in the mornings, you do XYZ. And let's say you come with fire in the morning, you start your day. Let's give you a scenario. Something happens at work and it's shaking, it's putting you on shaky grounds mentally. Can you walk us through anything that you do intentionally to bring yourself back to equilibrium?
Oh yes, and this this has happened quite a number of times. So for me, the first thing that I do, okay, so I don't know if a lot of people know this because this part of my life, I don't put my work part out there because a lot of people that follow me on my social media pages, they follow me based on, they follow me from my TV hosting days in
Yeah,
Nigeria when I used to
yeah.
host a talk show on Spice TV called On the Couch. Here in Canada now, I have people, and then some people follow me from my YouTube channel, Ariyike Weekly. But here in Canada, I have like a larger audience following me. Some people are following me from work. Some people are following me from my books, Beautifully Colored and The Cost of Our Lives. But a lot of people don't realize that I actually have a full-time job. I work Monday to Friday, and I work in the industry I work in is called global business immigration. So we do a lot of, immigration work, casework for different foreign nationals. So
Yeah.
that's the work I do. I do immigration work. Um, and as with I think immigration is one of the most delicate industries because temperaments can be high. Because look,
Mm,
I don't want to be in a country where I am illegal. I want to make sure that all of my documentation is intact. So
mhm.
in terms of communicating with the people that your clients, you have to always maintain a certain level of professionalism and also empathy. You have to
Yes.
communicate with empathy because I'm an immigrant in Canada as well. So
Yes.
I know what it feels like to be here. And, I mean, I'm here legally, but I can imagine if I was in a situation where maybe my work permit was about to expire. So I
Mhm.
put myself in people's shoes. Now, going back to your question, I'm in a situation where maybe at work or wherever, and something has happened, a big situation in quotes. The
Mhm.
first thing,
Mm.
and this also has to do with me getting to a certain level of self-awareness. I've gotten to
Awareness.
that level where I know that there's so many situations that will come, but
Mm.
it's not about me. So
Mm.
people need to understand that there are certain things that will happen and it's really not about you. So I know that there are so many things that happen, especially work-wise. It could be that the person is having a bad day and the person just wants this thing done right now, but you know that you
You
cannot
don't
do it right now
have the
because there are
capacity.
so
Yeah.
many things that you need to do. You don't have the capacity. So a lot of times when I am in situations, and this is also with my previous work, I used to work at EY Law. EY is consulting. EY is one
Ernest
of the
Young,
big four.
for people that don't
If
know.
you've ever
Mhm.
worked, Ernst and Young, EY, yes. If you've
Mhm.
ever
Yeah.
worked in consulting, you will know that it's like you're working, yeah, you have to deliver.
Mhm.
And I think that that was also where I got a lot of my professional training here in Canada, because you will get to understand that you're working with people from a diverse set of backgrounds. And this is not you being a local champion in Nigeria where you've worked with so many people. This is you working with people from all over the world, and you have to know how to communicate with each person. So back to your question, the first thing I do is I take a deep breath. I breathe. That's what I do. Breathe. Because if you don't breathe, we die.
You take a deep breath.
So
Yes.
the first thing I do, I breathe. And I am slow to respond. Slow not being that I'm going to respond tomorrow. No, I will address your concerns, whether it is in person, whether it is via email.
An email.
I'm not fastest fingers. Oh, this person said this. I'm going to respond. No, clap back. I breathe, like I internalize the moment, the situation. I take it all in. Because sometimes when you receive an email, maybe an escalation or something, when you read it the first time, your antennas might just be going in different directions. But then you read it a second time, then you really begin to understand. So I read, if it's an email, I read more than once. If it's a one-on-one, thing, sometimes I can ask the person to please, explain the situation again, so that I can properly understand and take it in. And then I respond. And responding is me not making it about me. No, it's never really about you. It's never really about you. A lot of times it's really about the person. So I put myself in the person's shoes, and then I see things from the person's point of view, and then I now respond. So I'm never quick to respond or quick to talk back or quick to say this, because when you don't it's wisdom. It has to do with wisdom. When you don't take things in, or you don't look at things with like proper lenses, you tend to respond to the person, even verbally, in a way that after you've responded, based on maybe you're upset immediately, and then you respond on impulse, you will regret what you said. If you type, you will regret what you have sent out. And our words are like broken eggs. You break an egg on the floor, you can't pack it back together. So you said that thing, boom, in the heat of the moment, but regardless of what the person has said to you, the person and what people say to you or what people do to you, people should never let it define them. What you say to me can never define me. No, you can't. What you say to me, no, it's not going to define me. It's what I say to myself about myself that defines me. So I always just like to remove myself from the situation first. Breathe, and then get a proper understanding of the situation, and then respond.
Wow. Okay. So guys, I hope we're taking notes. I just learned from everything Lady Ariyike has said. She says that she removes herself from the situation. If something happens during the day, you guys, and it seems like it is shaking your mental health, remove yourself from the situation and breathe. Take a deep breath. Then you reread again, or you re-listen again, reanalyze, basically, so that you can be sure you fully understand what is going on. Then you take your time to respond. Lady Ariyike is teaching us that we must not be slow, we must not be quick to respond. We must be slow to speak. We must take our time. And I think that even that's the same thing with maybe if there's no third party involved. Maybe a situation has broken out in your life and you need to take action. You have to first of all fully analyze, sit down and fully analyze whatever it is. Let's use an example. Maybe you sit for an exam and you get the results. So this is for any and everybody out here. And the results that come back it's not what you were expecting. Do you immediately just throw a tantrum, just shout, And then you also type and tell the whole world or tell all your friends that this thing did not work out.
Or you call out
No.
the examination body and say, oh,
Ah,
go on on
exactly.
Twitter, go and call them
Media.
out.
And then you call them out and no, you don't do that. For any situation in our lives, we must breathe and chill and then re-listen, reread, reanalyze. We shouldn't jump to conclusions. This is really good for our mental health, I promise you. Because sometimes, as she has said, when you take a second look, when you look with the proper perspective and with the proper lens, your careful response may help to make things better
Yes,
instead of making them worse.
definitely. Definitely.
Okay. Lady Ariyike, you are a wife. You are a mom of 3 boys. You run a very tight ship, very busy in the house. The kids have soccer, they have this event, they are going to school. Husband wants you to do this, you are going for party with him. You yourself, you have a speaking engagement. In fact, you're studying for this, you're doing one course, you're also a full-time employee. Can you tell us, please, some ways you regulate your life? What are 2 to 3 ways that you regulate your life in like some form of system that helps keep you yourself sane?
That's a very good question. I really like that question, and thank you for asking.
I'm here.
Let me first start by saying I'm not a superwoman, and
Mm.
I already know that. If you look at me, my t-shirts, I don't have superwoman
You
on.
don't have
I don't
S
have a
on your
cape.
chest.
I don't have a cape on. I'm not a superwoman, and I
Okay.
think that as moms, as wives, as women, the first thing we need to understand is that we need to understand that we're not super women and we cannot do everything. So I know that. I mean, let me quickly take you back to when I lived in Nigeria and now I live in
Yes.
Canada. When I lived in Nigeria, like today, when I was thinking about, this interview and us talking, I actually had a flashback of one day when I was in my house in Nigeria. And in Nigeria, my mom used to call me Iyaewe. She still calls me that, which means mother of children. It's like a Yoruba saying, because my house always had a lot of kids. A lot of kids were always in my house in Nigeria. Like my friends' kids would be there, my brother's kids are there, my other brother's kids are there. And there was a time I was sitting down in my balcony. I was sitting down there because a lot of times I'll sit down there just so that I could. The kids are playing in the compound downstairs because we had a big compound where my kids used to play soccer and things like that. And there were so many kids running around. Some were riding bicycles, some were on scooter. Kids were screaming. And there were about 20 kids in my compound, about 20 of them. And I had 2 nannies. Some of the kids there had their nannies there. So there were maybe like other 5 or 6 nannies there. And there was just so much noise, so much chaos, as with, of course, 20 kids, about 20 kids. And I was just smiling. Like it was exciting to watch, like the craziness. Fast forward to maybe 6 years after, now that I'm in Canada, I cannot imagine having that number of kids. They can't even fit in my house. My house is too small. Then now having all of them run around, am I the one who is going to cater for all of them? Of course not. So first of all, help in Nigeria was very, like a lot of us were big on help. We had people helping us. Even those who didn't have nannies always had like some relative living with them, or the kids would go over to the grandparents' house. There was the support, that family support was there. But in this part of the world, we don't have all of that. It's just you and your family. You're the one taking care of your kids, except of course you have enough money, enough resources to pay for help. So one of the things that Canada has taught me, is also opening yourself up to receive help when the opportunity comes. I'm not very good with asking for help. I'm not one of those people. Honestly, I would be very honest. I'm not very good with asking people to help me with things. I'm not very good. But if you offer, I will help. So we live here in, Hamilton. Moved here last year with my kids. Taking them to school was a challenge. because we only have one car. My husband has to take the car very early to work. He works far. I'm at work. I have to go into the office on some days of the week. Thank God I had a friend. We went to the same high school. She used to live very close to me. Banke, shout out to her. She had offered a couple of times to help with the kids, but you know, we moved here when the weather was good. The walk to the kids' school is about 14 minutes from my house, which and
that's long.
14 minutes walk is short. So are you
Yes.
joking? 14 minutes.
Okay.
But
Well,
you that you
yeah.
walk, you that you're a fitness person, I'm sure you can walk 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
No, I
easily.
can, but when I think about the time constraints, 14 minutes there, then you walk back 14 minutes.
That's like your daily walk now. Let's say you do 30
yeah.
you've done it for the day. And it's, you know, your steps have counted. Yeah. So initially when the weather was good, we will walk, and you know, I'll tell my friend, oh, don't worry. Sometimes she'll see us on the way, give the kids a lift and all of that. And then she had to move. She moved to England, and she also has a friend who had her next door neighbor and like a close friend to her, and they also offered to help with the kids, which is very nice. And that's Sade Shady. Shout out to Sade. Shout out to women who support other women. You know,
Yes.
and Sade will help pick up the kids and then help to drop them back home. And then sometimes when, say, my husband he's not working or he's on leave, and you know, we have the car, we do the school runs.
Yeah.
So it's like they help, and then when we can, we help, but they help most of the time. And you know, that has been very helpful, most especially during winter when the weather was horrible. You know, she would help with the kids, and she does that every day happily, like with no stress. She's very happy to do it. And I also remember when I was in Nigeria as well, I used to help people with school runs. There were a lot of times when I would help people. Some people who I wasn't so close to, but they, you know, the moms, like school moms, where they're like, oh, please, can you help with the kids? Can they come to your house? I'm running late. I'll pick them up from yours. No biggie. Why not? I'll do it. So people helping you here in Canada is big. Like, I'm very appreciative to people who actually reach out and help. And if I can also help people, I reach out. Like, I have somebody who just moved here recently. We're not that close, but I knew her from Nigeria, and I reached out to her recently. She lives close by, and I said, if you need help with anything, even if it's with the kids, you're a new immigrant. I was once there. I was there 4 years ago. If you need help, reach out. I'll be more than happy to support you and help you. And she was very, very happy that I actually, you know, did offer to help. So for me, it's more like you have to know the things that you can do. So I know the things that I can create time for, but I cannot do everything. Today, my son had a football game, but I'm here. My husband was the one that went. I couldn't go and watch his football game because if I went, I would not be on this live. So it's also about knowing that you cannot do everything. And even my kids, they know. I tell them, I'm like, look, I'm not Superwoman. I cannot do it all. You want me to come here? Oh, you're doing this, you're doing that. I cannot come for everything, but the ones that I can come for, I will come for them. And also having a supportive spouse, a spouse that you can actually talk to and say, I'm not going to do this tomorrow. You're the one who's going to do it. Yeah, because it's teamwork. Marriage is teamwork. Parenting is teamwork. I think that a lot of people get it wrong because they want to carry that burden, the load. They want to carry it all by themselves. You cannot do it all as a woman. And I think that even with men, if we have men watching, please show more support to your wives. Support your wives. I think that there are a lot of expectations from women where people think that, you know, she's not a woman, she can do it. You go to work, even if you're working from home. Even my husband also had this mindset of, you know, you're working from home. Because you're working from home, you can
everything in the home, you can handle it while you're working at the same time.
Me, you know, at a point in time, I have to tell him, hey, you know, I'm working from home, but I'm not able to do XYZ. You will need to do that. And, you know, he graciously took on those tasks. So people need to also delegate within, especially if you have older kids. My kids are teenagers, my first two, 15, 13, and then I have a 7-year-old. They help out. As soon as we came, in fact, before we came to Canada, and this is for people who are hoping or planning to move abroad, start training your children. Start, because they will help you. You will need their help. When we moved here, my husband had to leave. Like, he was shuttling initially until he now fully, came to stay in 2020. So for over a year, I was alone with the 3 boys, but my husband would come and go. If not for the fact that I had trained them from Nigeria, trained in a way that I was already teaching them how to do things. And how old were they then? They were still quite young. And this is not you coming to turn your kids into laborers here in Canada, but this is you teaching them those basic things where you know that you're
to
not the
carry
one
their share
doing
of the weight.
everything. So what we have now, we have a timetable.
Mm-hmm.
We have chores.
Mm-hmm.
And those chores are spread out amongst everybody. So each person has what they're supposed to do at every given day. So that way, it's not mommy doing everything, even though, with certain things, even after they've done it, I still do it because maybe they haven't done it to my standards, but I let them do it. Everybody. And on Saturday, we have environmental sanitation in this house. On Saturday, everybody gets to work. Everybody. My 7-year-old has been asking, oh, mommy, I want to start doing my chores. I want to do this. What can I do? What can I? So even we started bringing him into the mix of doing one or two things. Okay,
clean your room,
go and clean
brush
this,
up the steps,
this, clean this, do this. It's very important, because at the end of the day, these kids are not going to be with us forever. And as parents, we want to be able to send them out into the world when they are older and know that we did a fantastic job. We've done well. And you know that your mind is at peace. My first 2 kids, they know how to cook. My boys, Mofe and Moyo, they cook. They know how to cook. So there are some things that they want to eat. Pancakes, eggs, fried plantain, some
rice, Indomie. They can
rice in the rice cooker. They know how to make it when they've gone off Indomie, but when they used to eat Indomie, they could make it. They know how to do certain things. You're not going to come and meet me when I'm in a meeting,
studying,
or when I'm studying, or and as immigrants, we're trying to do so much. We're writing exams, we're working, we're doing a lot of things at the same time. And I love cooking. I enjoy cooking, but I'm not going to spend 2 hours of my time cooking when I am supposed to be reading, or when I'm supposed to be writing, or when I'm supposed to be doing something else. So people need to also train their kids so that their kids can help them, and your spouse as well. Before I moved to Canada, my husband could not boil water. He could not boil an egg. Honestly, I'm being very honest. He couldn't do all of those things. But before I left Nigeria, I'm like, we're going together, but you're going to come back. I had to teach him how to cook the things he likes to eat. I had to teach him. And now my husband is in Canada. He doesn't do a lot of cooking. I can count how many times he has cooked.
But at least if he needs
if he needs to, or if I'm not able to do certain things, he will help. And then can we also normalize helping in terms of catering? One of the things that I learned here in Canada is, in Nigeria, I used to order food. It was just before I traveled that I found out that, one of my cousin's cousin, her name is Okpe. Shout out to you, Okpe. Okpe makes Ofada stew. I'm sure you know Okpe. She's Okpe to work in the whole advertising industry.
Okay.
Okpe makes, she used to make Ofada stew. What's the name of that her company? Mama something. So she used to, like, one day I think I saw her at a party and she was like, oh, she does this. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. But before that, married for maybe about 14 years or 15 years, I'd never ordered anything from outside. And I tried Okpe's Ofada stew and it was nice. And I used to make Ofada stew and it takes time to heat up the oil, it takes a lot of time to cut the meat, to do all those things. So she became my plug. And this was shortly before I traveled. I used to buy a lot of her Ofada stew. And coming to Canada, sometimes I order food. Like this long weekend, I ordered food.
Yes.
So we have to normalize these things because we're not super. We can't do everything.
We
I
can't
ordered
do
jollof rice.
everything.
Yeah. So you order these things and then you bring them to the house and everybody eats. Gone are the days when, people are like, you must be the one cooking for everybody.
Slaving in the kitchen.
You must be in the kitchen. I mean, shout out to Hilda Basti. She has broken the record. She has set new standards, but not everybody is going to be a Hilda
No.
Basti. So people need to
No.
understand that, different people have different callings. If your calling is not for you to be a full-time housewife where all you do is cater to the home, because there are women who actually do that, and
Yeah.
shout out to them. That's their
Yep.
calling. That's what they've agreed to do with their spouses.
Yeah.
That's what they want to do. But with my own spouse, he knows me. I am not the type of woman that is just going to sit at home and just, I've done it. When my kids were smaller, they were young, my first two, there were times when I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything. I was just taking care of them. And that's fine. And as with seasons, there are different seasons in people's lives where you know that, okay, this season is for this. This is what I'm going to focus on. This is what I'm doing. Look at us now. We're in Canada. There was a season when we just got into the pool, the express entry pool. There were seasons when we were checking the scores to know, has my score hit? Has my score hit? There was a season when we put in our applications, acknowledgement of receipt came, this. So people need to understand that there are seasons in people's lives. And I also want to touch on something. Social media is not real life. People need to also understand that the fact that someone comes on social media, puts up a pretty picture, or is dancing just to, as Yoruba people say, "Paronure." Yeah, okay, there, because they're like, oh, I can't kill myself. I beg, let me enjoy my life. Hey, allow me to enjoy my life.
Exactly.
That does not mean that the person's life is perfect. And I'm going to tell you why. There was somebody that I hadn't heard from her in a long time. She had reached out to me when I was in Nigeria. She wanted me to mentor her. She wanted to work with me. And I brought her on board when I was working on TV. I taught her how to do a few things. And she moved abroad. I also moved abroad. She moved before me. And we were still slightly in communication. We were in touch. She used to come to my house. She knew my kids. She knew how I was running my home in Nigeria. And she moved abroad. And I think that she wasn't having it too easy. Nobody has it easy when you move abroad. In fact, till now, I'm still a new immigrant. I'm still settling. I'm still trying to put things together, put my life together. And, I just saw that I wasn't hearing from her. I wasn't seeing anything of hers. And then I bumped into her comment on somebody's page one day, sometime maybe last year. And then I sent her a DM and I'm like, hey, babe, how have you been? It's been a while, blah, blah, blah. And then I realized, because we used to, she used to engage on my page. I used to engage on her page as well. And then I checked. Something just said, check if this babe is still following you. Because I saw the people she was following had reduced drastically. And she had unfollowed me. And I asked her, I said, hey, did you unfollow me? Because I am, sorry, I'm the type of person that I will not just, people believe in this sweeping things under the rug mentality. A lot of people live by it, be the bigger person. There was a time in my life when that was me. But the season I am in my life is, I will address, if it smells like a rat, it is most likely a rat. But I want to see that it's a rat first before I say it's a rat. Just to be sure. And I was like, babe, did you unfollow me? And she was like, yes, I unfollowed you because, what did she even say? Maybe something about, because your life looks perfect and mine doesn't. Something like that. And I was like, okay, in my usual fashion of just taking things in. And I'm like, okay, now. And I said, send me your number. I need to call you. And then she called, because there are certain conversations that are better had on the phone or in person as against, typing.
Not
really?
tapping.
Why would you say that? That's not me. I don't do petty. I don't do pettiness. And then I called her and I said, hey, babe, how are you? Greeted her. She just had a baby, a couple of months, congratulated her, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, yeah, now, let's talk about this thing. What's up? And she was like, yeah, that she unfollowed people who their lives seemed very perfect because she was having a hard time. She was at a point in her life where, you know, she just didn't want to see people like me on her feed. So then it occurred to me that there are some people that actually look at the things that you post. Like, let me put myself, because this is me. Some people look at me. Maybe I come on social media, I'm dancing, or I'm attending an event, or, you know, my friends and I are out having a good time.
Now you're all made up.
Maybe we've
You
not
look
gone
sweet.
out in 3-4 months, so we've just seen at maybe one of Miriam's Canada vendors events. Shout out to Miriam.
Exactly.
You know,
shout out.
Maybe we're just all like, we're just having fun. You don't know who has worked the night before, all through the night, so and came in the morning to enjoy their lives. You don't know anything about anybody, but just because of what you're seeing on my platform, on my page, then it looks as if I am living a perfect life. And then, you know, we addressed it. So like I spoke with her and I said, do you realize that you even moved abroad before me? Maybe a year or two before me. I'm still new abroad. I'm trying to figure things out. Like, I'm still also a new immigrant where I am, same as you. But the fact that you're seeing my social media and it seems like it's popping, in quotes, that's maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds clip of my entire 24 hours.
That's
You don't
true.
even know how I've run my day. You don't even know that at a point in time I was the only one running around 3 boys in this house with no husband to help out. You know, so I just made her kind of understand. I really didn't need to do that, but because I felt like it was important for her to understand other people's perspectives, because it wasn't only me she unfollowed. So if you're so then what does that tell you about the people she's following? The people she's following. Because
those ones, their lives are imperfect.
Exactly. I then checked the people she was following, and there were some people who I knew. And I knew of those people's situations. And then I'm thinking to myself, really, is this what social media does to people, where you think that people who are out there, or people who seem like they're out there, are living perfect lives? And that also takes me to something that I want us to talk about, which is jealousy, envy. People, social media has brought out,
that affects your mental health.
That's what
Jealousy, envy affects your mental health.
Social media has brought out some demons in people that even they didn't know that they had. And these things actually do affect your mental health, because growing up, my father of blessed memory, may so rest in peace, my dad used to speak, and I think that that's why I have a lot of wisdom in my head, because my father used to talk to us in parables a lot of times. Like, he would say things and he would explain what he's saying. Like there's this Yoruba one where he would say, "Emafi aguala gorin," which means, you know, walk according to your pace. Don't ever look to your right or to your left. Don't look around you. Don't look at what people are doing. Just be focused. Work according to your pace. Move according to your speed. Don't run because everybody around you is running. Don't try to do this because everybody around you is doing this. No, just stay on your lane and keep moving on that lane that you are. But then with social media, people don't understand. People see someone doing, look at my book, Beautifully Colored. Beautifully Colored. #1 Amazon bestseller. Multiple times. In fact, if I spend like a week posting about this book, I promise you, somebody will do a screenshot and send to me and be like, babe, your book is #1 again on Amazon. This book has been #1 a couple of times on Amazon. Now people will see you. And I also have this book as well, The Cost of Our Lives. You guys, please go on Amazon, get my books. This one highlights social issues such as cyberbullying. So cyberbullying, jealousy, all of that is here. And this is a book that I wrote since 2015. Why is it that the things that I wrote about then are still coming into play in this day and age? It's because people are not prioritizing their mental health. People are looking around them. People are not focusing. They're distracted. So me on my Instagram, I have 2 hours, and this is also part of balancing my mental health. I set while me and you were on, my 2-hour mark came on. I had to stop it. I have a 2-hour Instagram
Timer.
timing every day.
Yeah.
And guess what? On weekdays, I don't meet 2 hours. Instagram
Mm-hmm.
I cannot spend 2 hours on Instagram. And this is not 2 hours at once. This is the whole of my 24 hours because I have other things that I am doing. And that's why a lot of people comment on my page, but I don't. It's weekends that I really have time to respond
To retire.
because I work
Yeah.
Monday to Friday. I don't use my work time to do social media. No, remember, even when we wanted to do the post, I told you let's do it at a certain time because once I put on my laptop at work, I'm not going to come on Instagram except I'm on my lunch break, and I will come here on my lunch break if I have to, but I don't, because it takes up your time. And I know how to balance social media. A lot of people don't. I realize a lot of people don't, and it affects their mental health. It affects their mental health
Yeah.
because you're looking at people. You're looking at today's AMVCA awards in Nigeria. You're going to look at all the glitz, all the
All
glamour,
the
especially
yeah.
if you're in
Yeah.
Nigeria and you did not get an invite, and to you,
Mm.
you are popping. They are supposed to
Mm-hmm.
have invited you, even if they did not nominate you. Those things, then you see your friends, maybe your friends who you were all in a movie together, you're an actress or an actor, they all got invited. You're the only one who didn't get invited. You start to feel inadequate. You start to feel left out. You start to feel like you're not enough. You start to
Mm-hmm.
feel like, why is it only me? After all, this person got invited and this person has only been in 4 movies. Oh, me, I've been in like 10 movies. They didn't invite me. Then you start to, the spirit of jealousy starts to come in. What's this one even wearing? Why does she even look like this? Look at her. Her hair
Exactly.
is not even fine. Her makeup is not even, yeah. All those bad things, all those, bad energy. So people need to understand that what people show you on social media is what they want you to see. And it also takes us back to well-being, mental health. What is on the outside never ever showcases what is on the inside. But then the priority should be what is on the inside, because anybody can take a pretty picture. Anybody can wear a pretty dress and look good,
And
do their hair.
use filters.
Yeah, use filters. But then we have to prioritize what is on the inside. When I lived in Nigeria, you, Funmi, you're so coach. When I lived in Nigeria, I didn't even, I knew I was very intentional about how I, was doing things and living. But with mental health, for me, mental health were just 2 words: mental health. They were not in Nigeria. When I think now with social media, people are becoming big on mental health. But I'm talking about 20 days I was on TV, 20,
2014, 2015.
2013, 2014,
Yeah.
15, all of those times, people were not really like big on mental health. Mental health seemed like a topic for people abroad, for people in the diaspora.
Yeah.
Because for us in Nigeria then, for us, it was like, if your mental health is not, if you're not healthy mentally, you're probably roaming the streets mad.
Yeah. So you're in Yaba
You're
left.
in Yaba left. But like us, as public figures, as people who, just women who are trying to just do things right. For us, mental health was not a conversation that people would really have, because it was a thing of, it doesn't affect us. It's not going to affect us. What's my business with mental health? But coming abroad and understanding how you have to prioritize your mental health, for me, I think that one of the things that I'm appreciative of, of moving here, is the fact that I understand that these conversations are not just conversations. They are real. They are real. Because each of us, if we look within, each of us has somebody. It could be a family member, it could be a friend, it could be a loved one. We all have people who have had some episode,
Challenges.
yes, that have to do with their mental health. So it's very important for us to really, really prioritize the within, the internal part of our being.
Thank you, Lady Ariyike. I've learned and I'm continuing to learn so much. And we have comments saying that, everything you're saying is so real and so authentic. I want to thank you for sharing with us some practical ways. You've spoken from your own life. And that's one of the reasons why we're here. You've spoken about the fact that you are not superwoman. and you acknowledge that you're not superwoman, and you tell everybody that you're not superwoman. So you get help. You ensure that you have a good support system,
Yeah.
whether they are friends or neighbors or your spouse or your children themselves. There's a timetable in your house. I'm just recapping for anybody that is just joining so that you will hear. I asked Lady Ariyike about the things she does to ensure her mental health, especially with all the many hats that she wears, running a home, being a mom, being a wife, being a this, being a that. She has timetable in her house. She acknowledges that she's not a superwoman. Her life is not perfect. And as she has said, what is seen on social media is just 15 to 20 seconds. It is a snapshot of her entire day. We must not make somebody's highlights assume that that is their whole life.
Exactly.
My highlights where I'm dancing is not my whole life. I am not using all of my 24 hours to dance. Abby? So we also have to remember that social media, as we have said, it brings highlights and filters and just things that they're snippets. It also means that your own social media consumption should be a snippet. You should not sit on social media all day either. Because if you do, remember, those are your eye gates. I've taught you guys before when we talk about mental health. Your eye gates and your ear gates, what are you letting in? What are you looking at? What are you learning from? Who are the people that you are absorbing value from as they are posting? So we have to be very careful, right? So that you focus on your goals, you focus on your values, you focus on your family,
Yes.
you give time and make yourself accessible to those that are important to you, that you feel a sense of responsibility to, not just everybody. Remember, social media, they're just highlight reels. And don't allow any spirit of jealousy or green-eyedness and thinking that, one person is doing something
One person's life
somewhere,
is
like
perfect.
one person's life
Perfect. In
is
quotes.
perfect, and it is not. It is not. Shout out to everybody that is here right now. Shout out to Paul Adeyeye and shout out to Canada Vendors and everybody that is here. Thank you so much for joining us. Lady Ariyike, you have given us almost 1 hour of your
Oh,
time.
yes.
Now, one last question before you leave. This mental health thing, like you said, we are all taking it seriously now. A person that didn't used to take it seriously, what would you say is the very first step? If you want to advise a person that this whole mental health thing, it was not a big deal to them before, but now they want to start taking it seriously. How would you, advise? What would you say is the very first step, or maybe 1 to 2 steps that they can take to begin? So it's almost like a beginner's guide to mental health. Please, we want to hear from you.
Okay. So for me, I would say, first of all, disclaimer: I'm not a mental health coach, or I'm not a professional.
No,
This is
from
me speaking
your
from
own personal,
my own
yes,
personal, experience and all of that.
experience.
And
Yes,
I feel like I should actually be a coach because a lot of people come to me for coaching. And for me, I've spoken with you about it. So
we're going to work on
I'm
it.
thinking about
We'll work on
coaching,
it.
definitely not mental health coaching, but some form of coaching. Yeah. So what I would say is the first thing is the person needs to pay attention. So paying attention also has to do with mindfulness. And I told you something. I said 3 things I'm very big on: mindfulness,
Mindset.
mindset, and rest.
Yeah.
So you have to be very, very, you have to be mindful. Mindful meaning you have to pay attention to yourself.
Yes.
What are those things that trigger you? What are those things that get your blood going hot? What are those things that give you rest, peace? What are those things that you're happy doing, seeing? Who are those people that that once you get on the phone with them, you're going to be angry after? Who are those people that when they're around you, some people call me, like one of my friends from uni, she's in Calgary, she's always like, Ariyike, foolish girl, where have you not been picking up your phone? Pick up. And then we're talking and she's like, every time she calls me, she always laughs. Like I always say something that makes her happy. something that makes her laugh. So she always wants to call me. Who are those people around you that you know that their energy is one that you know that you want to always feed off? Because, you know, there are times, well, human, me that I'm talking, as I said, my life is not perfect. There are times when, you know, there are things that I have my fears too. I'm human now. I have my fears. I'm in a country as an immigrant. I lived in Lagos all of my life, almost 40 years. Now I'm in Canada, I'm above 40. I've been here almost 4 years. I have my fears too. For the future, I have things that I'm thinking of. I'm trying to also work on certain projects, certain things. So the thing is, you have to be very mindful. You have to think about yourself. Pay attention to yourself. And this is you blocking out all of the noise. Take away all of the paparazzi. Take away all of the glitz, the glam.
Extra.
Strip yourself. Strip yourself off all of those layers. Because as with humans, we have many layers, many shock absorbers, many bulletproofs. Be vulnerable with yourself, to yourself. I am very big on journaling, Funmi, and I think that that's one of the things we have in common. Look at this.
Yes.
This is be a gold digger. Goal, not gold. I have many. In fact, if I say to one of my boys, please let me pass a journal, they know where to pick one from. I have many journals planted everywhere in my house. And this is because I write. And you cannot write if you don't pay attention. What are you writing now? You are feeding from an empty pot. So people need to begin to, you know, be self-aware. I was with my friend Funmi Ayowole, shout out to her. We were in New York together, and she said something to me, something very profound. And she said, you have always, she said, I'm one of the few people that has always been self-aware right from time. I said to myself, I want to get married by the time I'm 25. I got married by the time I got married the month I was turning 25. I want to have my first set of kids at this time. And, you know, this is not me saying, oh, it happened by my doing. Oh, I said this and I did it. No, this is also about me being self-aware to a level where I am
you know what you
working
want
towards those things that I want, because I have put them down in writing. And in putting them in, when you write down about yourself, and this is me advising people, as Funmi has said I should, write down those things that trigger you. You can even create a table: happiness, triggers, or positive vibes, negative vibes. Those things that are negative or bring negativity to you, that don't those things that don't feed your soul, put them down. Those things that feed your soul, put them down. Me going to church, I'm happy when I go to church. It feeds my soul. So I know the things that make me happy. I know the things that add spice to my
value.
life. And I try to, you know, do a lot of that. I know the things that trigger me. I know the things that I don't want around me. I know the things toxic, you know, I don't like toxic energy. There are things that, and I work towards keeping those things far away from me. So people need to take stock. Take stock of your life. You're the CEO of your life. You're the one. Nobody's going to come and do. No mindset coach or life coach is going to help you with it, because they can help you unravel those layers. But you yourself,
but you still have
the CEO,
to do the work.
You still have to do the work by yourself, for yourself. So people need to start to take stock. Put those things down in writing, because it's so easy to have them in our heads and say, oh, okay, these are the things I don't like. These are the things I don't want. Write them down. Put them down in writing. When you now write them down, you now start to begin to work in alignment, begin to work in a way that you know that you are feeding off more on those things that actually make you happy, on those things that bring joy to your soul. Because at the end of the day, please, what are we in this world for? We're in this world to have a great, we're in this world to have the best experience of our lives. I'm not here to create the best experience for you. I'm here to create the best experience for myself. And along the journey, there are people who will come, and then we can have those experiences together. So if you are here, you have to pay attention to those things that actually feed your soul positively and tilts more towards spending time doing those things or spending time being around those people. Some people like to dance, but are they are shy because they feel like they don't know how to dance. Not everybody that likes to dance must be a Pokoli or a Chris Brown. If you like to dance, if you see, I'm not the best dancer, but if I'm dancing, like I'm enjoying myself because I like to dance. So people should look for those things that make them happy. I listen to music every day. Every day I listen to music. And this is not, I don't have an alarm set to pay, okay, at 12. No, I'm not a robot. Like, I'm not so robotic, even though I plan I plan a lot of things. I plan so much because we have 24 hours in a day. And I think that 24 hours is enough for you to do so much, including your rest, sleep time. So people need to look for those things that bring joy to their souls and do more of those things. And if you need help, because we have to be true to ourselves. If you get to a stage or a level where you feel like your soul needs help, like you need help, because sometimes you can't do these things by yourself. Some people cannot. And for me, this is 40-something years of me being here. And I've not trained myself or my soul or my mind for that long. This is me being an adult and taking charge of my life and saying, okay, I'm going to try to do certain things for me to be happy, for my soul to be healthy, for my mind to be at peace. If you feel like you've gotten to a level where you need help, reach out to the Soul Clinic.
Yes, please.
Reach out.
Yes, please.
Reach out.
We have trained counselors.
Yes.
We have trained support coaches to help.
They will help you, and they will help you to unravel it. And one of the things I always say is impossible is a word, because impossible is also I am possible. So I think that people should also see themselves as being possible. Like everything you want to do is possible. Is on the other side of fear. Just if it's, about you living a healthier, mental health lifestyle, work towards it. Is your life, is your health. If you're mentally healthy, you're going to be able to achieve so many things. So there are people who they want to achieve 10 things, but they're not even able to achieve one. Why? Because your mind is dancing around in circles.
Scattered.
It's scattered. But then if you can actually get to a level where you would actually put everything together and say, okay, these 10 things, let me put the list down. And then let me go for number one alone. Let me go after number one. And this happens with a lot of creatives. I'm a creative person. And I know, because I've been at certain stages in my life where I wanted to do so many things at the same time. But I had to also tell myself that it's impossible to do all of this because at the end of the day, you will break down. You will easily break down. So you have to also prioritize those things that you need to put forward. What am I going to do first? What am I going to do second? What am I going to do third? What's my goal for this year? Am I able to achieve it? This 2023, I had planned to release a book before my birthday. In fact, the book was, let's say, 96-7% done. But then God spoke to me and said, no, your work is not done with these two books. These ones that you have, you need to do X, Y, Z. Work on those
with them.
Because it is so easy to abandon a project that you've already, like, if I had done a new book, I'll be there pushing. And then these two, even though people can still buy them, I will not pay so much attention to them. I will want to pay attention to the other book so that it can, get to a certain level. So I think that people should also listen to that inner spirit that is within you, because that's God talking to you a lot of times. That's the Holy Spirit. Listen to the voice of God, and just work towards being intentional about how you live your life. People easily tell you, oh, Funmi, you're so awesome, you're so this, you're so that. Even us, we're so nice to other people. We're so like, oh my God, your hair is amazing. Oh my God, you look good. But then we're so hard on ourselves. So people should learn to take it easy with themselves. Be soft. Me, I'm soft on myself. Hey, Ah,
Yeah, baby girl.
I'm a baby girl. Oh. Hey, I'm not going to wait for you to give me compliments. When I was even putting on this red lipstick, it's Ruby Woo, by the way, Mac. And back when I was in uni, this was my lipstick. And then when I went to New York recently, I went to the Mac store and I bought it. It's very hard because I haven't been seeing it whenever I go to the store, but I bought it. And I was looking at myself in the mirror. I'm like, okay, Ruby Woo, baby girl. I hype myself. People should learn to hype themselves. Don't wait for your husband to be the one to give you compliments. I know some women, they'll fight their husband and say, you can't see I'm looking good. No, I don't wait. No, I'm not waiting for anybody. If you give me compliments, you are adding to what is already there, because I am so confident and I have already complimented myself and, looked at myself and said, baby girl, you're fine. So be nice to yourself. Don't be hard on yourself. Because when you're hard on yourself, it affects even your mental health. A lot of people are very hard on themselves. They're like, oh, what is this? Why can't I do this? No, be soft. Be soft with yourself.
Yeah. I love it. So we're rounding up very soon. Does anybody have any question that we have not answered somehow? Because Lady Ariyike has touched on so much already. If you have any question that we have not answered, please ask it now. If you ask a question that it looks like we have answered earlier on in the Instagram live, I will ask you to watch the replay. But when we asked Lady Ariyike about how she would advise a person, beginner's guide to mental health, she first of all said we should pay attention. Pay attention, take stock, write things down. Prioritize our mental health in such a way that we can identify what brings us joy and what does not bring us joy, what feeds our souls, what does not feed our soul, and then align ourselves in the direction of what feeds our souls. She also said we should practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself, hype yourself, be nice and gracious to yourself, right? And I think there was one last thing, or what she said, one other thing she said finally was about writing out our goals, being so self-aware as to what we want to do. See, when you identify what you want to do and work towards it, your mental health truly is improved because you start to believe yourself. You start to trust yourself. That means that you are not disappointing yourself. That's a huge thing. Okay? So I don't think that there are any questions.
And I also want to add something. Something.
Yes, please.
And this one is probably, I don't know if it's going to sound selfish, but I don't care. It's similar to something I had said earlier on, which is, you can't be there for everybody. You can't be everyone's friend. People should understand that you have to learn to say no. One of the things that, that I feel like I've really tapped into since I moved abroad is saying no, because you can't say yes to everything. You can't say yes to everyone. And this also includes social gatherings, events.
It's not everything you attend.
You can't be everywhere. I get invited to an event pretty much. When people say, oh, Canada is right. People invite me to stuff pretty much almost every weekend. Imagine if I had to be at an event every weekend. It's impossible. I have 3 kids. My sons, they play soccer. They have games. I have to go and watch games. I have to do this. I have to do that. Me too. Sometimes I want to just go and enjoy myself. My husband and I might want to go out. We want to go and watch a movie. So you have to understand that it's okay to say no for your mental health. It's very, very okay to say no, because people tend to put so much pressure on themselves where they are trying to please. People pleasers, they are the ones that have the biggest mental health issues, because you want to please this one, so at the end of the day, you're pleasing everybody around you but yourself, because you know that those places that you're going to, those things that oh, can you help me do this? Yes. Oh, can you help me do this? Yes. If you look back at when we were younger, those people who were seen as rude, where you're like, oh, that girl, she's so rude, some of them were not rude. Some of them had actually understood how to set boundaries early, where, you're like, oh, can you help me do this, even in boarding school? And they're like, no, I can't. And you're like, oh, that girl is nasty. Oh, that girl is this. But the truth is, you have to set boundaries. You have to learn to say no, because If you do not learn to say no, the world is going to dump so much on you. And at the end of the day, by the time the world finishes with you, even you yourself, you will not recognize yourself anymore. So people should learn to say no, and people should learn to set boundaries and understand that you cannot be there for everyone. It's impossible.
That's so good. Thank you for adding that. Thank you very much. Thank you. We're continuing in this boundaries conversation. Boundaries are so essential to our mental health. They are the things that we can control. But when you focus on what you can control, you can't control other people, but you can control the access that people have to you.
Yes.
Right? And that for sure impacts your mental health. Thank you all so very much today for joining. It has been a beautiful conversation. Remember that you can get Lady Ariyike's books, Beautifully Colored and the Cost of Our Lives, on Amazon. And remember that, as she has said, if you need help, the Virtual Soul Clinic is available. Please follow us. Everybody that is on this live, please follow us. Enjoy our content, but more importantly, go on our website, www.thevirtualsoulclinic.com. All you have to do is click on the part that says book a free 15-minute support call. It's for free. We have trained volunteer support coaches. If you need help, it is for free. So I'm not selling anything to you. Please prioritize your mental health. God bless you all. Thank you so much, Lady Ariyike.
Thank
This
you.
has
And please
been
subscribe to my
wonderful.
YouTube channel, Ariyike Weekly. I
Please
do it there.
subscribe. It's
Please
right there.
subscribe.
Please subscribe to Ariyike's YouTube channel. We thank you all so much for this Instagram Live. Thank you for your time and attention. God bless you all.
Take care.
Bye.
Love and light. Bye.
Bye. Love you, Ari. Thank you.
You too, hon. Thanks.